Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's video. It's a new one. Thank you so much for clicking on it today. Just finished up the strength routine this morning, and I was thinking it would be such a great day to give you guys an updated review of the PowerDot, using it for recovery. I've had a lot of people ask about it lately, and I've wanted to give an update since I made the original video when I first got it, mostly because I have been using it on a fairly regular basis, and so I wanted to give you guys what I've learned about it over the past couple months and just kind of how I use it and how I think that it works for me as a cyclist, especially doing strength training, because it's days like today where I really want to use it because I did those split squats, and anything where I really tax my quads or my hamstrings, that's my go-to, is the PowerDot, because I don't want to be sore for my session later in the day. It's actually going to be a hilly mountain bike ride, so I want to try to be as fresh as possible. So that's where the PowerDot comes in. So for those of you who don't know what the PowerDot is, it's a muscle stimulator. It's a pretty cool little device. I'll show you guys the device in just a bit, but it's pretty warm out here today, so I'm gonna get cleaned up and then I'm gonna get my PowerDot going for some recovery. I really consider the morning breakfast a good way to jumpstart that recovery, especially when you have that early morning training session. So when I wake up and I do a morning session, I usually do it fasted, and I'm not doing that for any kind of particular reason. It's just that's what works for me. I wake up and I want to get the session started, over with, done with, and then have my food. What I try to do when I do these strength sessions, and I don't do this after every strength session, but I do 2 sessions a week, and my goal is that if I work my quads or really any muscle in my legs, then I try to use the PowerDot when I get to work. If you guys don't know, the PowerDot is basically a muscle stimulator, and it can be used for more than recovery, but that's really my main focus for its use. You can use it to actually help build muscle, but I strictly use it for recovery, so that's specifically what I'm talking about in this video. So once I get to work, what I do is I change into some shorts. I'm very fortunate in the fact that where I work, our dress code is casual, so I could just wear the shorts to work, but I would freeze to death in an office. So I switch to shorts and I throw the PowerDot on. Now I use the extended recovery. The extended recovery and the active recovery, they're just different lengths. One's 35 minutes, one's 21 minutes. I almost always try to do the extended recovery if I have the time to do it. It says that you should do it within a 2-hour window of doing your workout. I don't abide by that 100% of the time, but when I do my morning session, I usually get it in within that 2-hour window anyways, and I try to because apparently I guess it does something, it helps the recovery, but there's a lot of times where I may do a ride in the afternoon and use it way later in the evening, and it still feels great to me. It comes in this really nice case, which is real small and real handy to carry around with you. And then it has magnetic clips that holds it in place. So I have the 2 PowerDots. You can buy this as a single unit or a dual unit like this, Uno or Duo. It comes with the electrodes. There's longer and shorter cables depending on where you're placing it. And then in here is a charger cable that's USB that can charge both at the same time. And then you have to have these pads. These are self-adhesive pads for the PowerDot. And in this package, there's basically a set of 2 in here. So It works perfect since I have the 2 PowerDots, but if you just had one, then you'd basically just have 2. And then you place these wherever you need to. The PowerDot app shows you where to place these for the muscle group you're wanting to work. In my original video, I really thought that it helped me recover. And I totally still believe that because obviously I still use it. Now, I don't use it after every training session, and the reason for that is I don't always feel like I need it after every training session, but if I do a training session and maybe I have one later in the day, or I did a hard training session today and I'm gonna have another hard one tomorrow, I'm much more likely to use it just to try to get as much recovery as possible. The number one spot that I use it is definitely on my quads because that's just where I've been getting the most sore. I find that it feels good. I'm not a weird person who's into pain or anything like that, but when your muscles hurt, that like electricity, it just, I don't know, it feels good in a really weird way. So the goal is to turn it up to where it's not too painful. And that's when your muscles start to shake. Something that I've discovered is that my left quad reacts a lot less than my right quad, and that's pretty much completely normal. That muscle just does not like activate as much as the right one. But you know, when you're sore and you wake up first thing in the morning and you think you're gonna die because you haven't moved and everything hurts, when you walk around after a while, you start to feel a lot better. I find that the PowerDot kind of gives you that same feeling. So if you're sore and you use it, it does kind of help your muscles feel a little bit more fresh. Probably one of the hottest topics about the PowerDot is actually these pads, and that's because these pads wear out over time. They're sticky, and literally the first time that you use them, you actually end up with a bunch of the glue left on you. The thing about these pads though is that I've gotten a lot of use out of them. I've used them a lot longer than probably what most people can. And the reason why is that because I use them on my quads, I'm sitting or laying down when I'm using them, and they don't have to be that sticky. Even these aren't that sticky anymore, but they stick enough where they form to my legs and they hold everything on. If I were walking around, they would probably fall off and I would need a new pair of these. But these do cost money, so being able to push them to their limit definitely can save you a couple bucks. The battery on the PowerDot is really impressive. I've probably charged it twice in 8 months. I probably use it at least once a week. Sometimes I've been using it more here in the summer, and so I've had to charge it recently, but the battery life has been pretty impressive on the device itself. I don't usually have to worry too much about the charge on it. One of the things that I discovered is that if you watch the original video I made on this, I seem to struggle a lot with the connectivity in the app. And that actually got a little bit worse after I made that video. And so I spent some time doing some research, and I found a couple tips that really made the whole process be smooth almost every single time. Basically what I do is when I want to use it, I open the PowerDot app on my phone first before I turn on the PowerDots themselves. And what I find is that when the app's open, those sync perfectly every single time. If I turn on the PowerDots first and then open the app, they don't always sync up correctly. But ever since I've been doing it in that order, I've had a lot of success with the device. I actually have an issue right now that I emailed PowerDot support about today, so we'll see if they get back to me, but one of these PowerDots is only putting output to one electrode. There's 2 electrodes per PowerDot, and only one of them is actually doing any kind of stimulation. I've swapped the cables, so I know it's not the cables, it's something in the device themselves. So I'm really interested to see what is gonna come of this situation. But the truth is, I really like this product. I enjoy using it. I go out of my way to bring it to work, to change into shorts, to use it for 30 minutes, and then put pants back on so that no one thinks that I'm super weird in the office. Anytime that your legs just feel like junk, maybe you've been in the car all day or you have had a long ride, it feels really good to put it on. Like I said, to me, it feels like if your muscles are stiff, it's just like you walked around and got them loosened up. That's what I feel like this basically does for me. It's not a miracle worker, but I definitely think it makes my legs feel better. In fact, I use it a lot at night before bed. I fall asleep quite often with it on just because, like I said, it feels good to me. So if you guys are thinking about getting a PowerDot, I'll put a link down below. Like I said, I do recommend it if my legs feel better after the ride than I would have expected them to. Then to me, that means it worked, right? All right, so I'm gonna get back to work and I'm gonna see you guys in just a bit. We're gonna do this mountain bike ride and see how my legs feel. All right, we We're about to ride some hills. Misty's gonna ride some hills. Me and Kevin are gonna ride some hills. It's gonna be a fun hill day on the trail. Instead of doing hill repeats, we're just riding a bunch of hills on the trail. Alright guys, that is a wrap on today's video. The ride was pretty tough. My legs were definitely hurting towards the end, and I know it was because of the strength session this morning. So like I said, I definitely think the PowerDot works. I think it helped me recover just a little bit for tonight, and I think it will help me to continue to keep my muscles like loose and a little bit more fresh than what they normally would. So I've been drenched in sweat. I'm gonna get home, get some dinner, and just finish the night out. Probably use the PowerDot again because I want to ride again tomorrow and have a good ride. So thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one.